Hey Paul, thanks for the video. Thanks for the revisions. Um, this will be quick from my end. I think in terms of the font, TBD. I'm just gonna kind of shop this around to a few people that I like and know, and just see what they think, and just kind of like weigh in. But Paul, I'm also curious. Like, what do you guys think? Do you have a preference, or what is like? Is there a team consensus on which font looks better? Or are people split 50-50? Would just be curious to see what your design team likes better. Uh, yeah, I think in terms of the circle idea of like integrating the circle, I think that looks great. I am in full agreement that compared to this, or even compared to these, adding that little bit of like dimensionality to it, um, it really works. I think it looks better. The one thing I would say is, when we design these, we need to keep symmetry in everything we do. Like, I see this stuff as basically perfection, and then when I see stuff like this, it irritates me because I'm like, oh, that shouldn't be there. That should be down this line. You know what I mean? Um, like, that's just the way my weird brain works. Not to say that anyone else even cares. I showed this to my wife, and she's like, I don't see anything wrong with it. But it's just me. But I think that I mean, there's all these studies on beauty, and beauty is like how beautiful a person looks, how attractive they are. It all correlates to symmetry. It's just the way the brain is. And so for this stuff, I would rather we say, okay, you know what? If there's a way to design it where we can get, what is this, 8? If we can design it with 8 and it looks really good with 8, then fine. Let's do 8. Obviously, more is better to an extent, but if we look at it and we say, you know what, no matter what we do with these 8, some of it's just not going to look right, then more is less in that situation. 6 is fine. And, we don't have to have every single piece of logo on the page. Um, I'd rather have something look good than something feel messy or crowded. So that's my critique here. And like I said to you, I owe you guys this, but I need to go through and send you some logos, like give you the full list of logos for each client, so you can kind of like pick the ones that have the right, whatever, vector format. And I mean, we can even get rid of stuff that is like overly large in favor of picking logos that almost make it easier for you to do your job and making it look good. You know what I mean? Um, and then, like I said, I'm not opposed to having more logos. Like, for example, if this thing, I don't know what the plan is, but like, let's just pretend, for example, that uh, this was like a clock or something, or it was animated in some way. Like, theoretically, you could have logos, 6 logos like this when it loads, and then when someone scrolls or after some period of time, it could disappear, and then like new logos could appear in the gaps where the old logos disappeared. You know what I mean? So whatever. But in general, I think this design looks way better than like a flat design. Then let's talk about this. So I'm still not sold on this. Um, and I think we need to figure out how to how to display this correctly. I mean, my initial take from this is it just feels, both implementations feel very busy. And is it better than this? Yes, it's better than this, but it's still not. I still don't love it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like the United Nations thing or whatever, where it's like, whatever is it, the peace leaves or something. And this just feels messy, and it just feels crowded. Like, I go back to, how does this make me feel when I first load the page? It's clean. It's super clean. It's very, very cool. It feels modern, and modern is minimal, right? And then you get to this, and it's like, again, modern, minimal, clean. It looks really good. And then you get to this, and it's like, what is this? First of all, in terms of a section, this fits on my MacBook page perfectly. And then I get to this, and it's like, it doesn't really fit. Like, if you wanted to see, I think this Figma thing is in the way, but like, you know what I mean? Like, the buttons are sort of at the coming off the bottom of the page, so it doesn't really feel nice and padded like this section. And like how I mentioned in the things that I like spacing. I think spacing is like super important for each section to kind of feel like its own, and this doesn't do it. But even besides that, like, it just feels distracting and messy. And so you're the experts here, right? So I can't, and I know that you're like just doing what I said. You know, you're putting up these little circles, and I told you that's what I was like, oh, this could be a good idea. Nope, not a good idea. You know what I mean? Like, so so don't hate me, right? Because I'm not the guy who can come up with the creative solution for this. All I can tell you is what I feel when I look at it. And just like that, it just doesn't, it feels off in comparison to the aesthetic and the vibe of the site. I'll throw out a couple ideas. Again, I don't know if these ideas are any good or not, but like, you have this like card implementation here. What if, like, almost like a deck of cards, there was another person's photo and background, like kind of peeking out a little bit, and then maybe one behind them, or maybe it went both ways, so it looked like it was a big pile of cards and I'm on top. I don't know. But the idea being that, maybe when it scrolls down, those things come out and are visible. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because the problem I have with it is it's a very tricky challenge. Okay, we have this where when the photos are large of people will focus on the photos. Who is that person? And you're looking at them. You're not paying attention to the words here. You're not paying attention to me. Then you're over here, and it just feels like extra noise. It feels like extra details added that don't need to be there. So how do we do this? I don't know. Look, I'd say, like, worst comes to absolute worst. If you push me on it, I'd say get rid of them. Just completely kill them, and then come up with a cool design to put around me, okay? That would be like, we can't figure it out, Justin, so we're going to nuke the idea, and we're going to put a cool, background or something going on, so it's not just like text, video, text, right? But I do still feel like there is some validity to having the people, right? Like, when you guys designed the wireframes, there was a reason we had these people here. The concept of having people, because it was like, we're talking about not handing people off, not having junior people. And then we mentioned that there's a senior team of industry, experts and former journalists. So if there was a place to kind of showcase a sneak preview of the team, I like the concept of that. Ties together with the words. And so if you were to just completely remove all the people, then it's just me saying, hey, you get me plus a senior team, but, you're not going to see the team, right? So you just believe me, right? There are people here. So I guess it's a challenge for sure. And I'm sorry that I'm not, like, more specific with what the solution is, but also at the same time, you have brilliant people working for you. And I'm hoping after you talk it through, You either can come up with a few more iterations of what this could look like, or some creative implementations, or yeah, just say we're getting rid of them and do something different. So yeah, cool. That's my feedback so far. Overall, love the circles and like the like the dimensionality and all that stuff. It looks really cool. So yeah, thanks for listening. All right, take care.